topic of research proposal and what is research proposal, components of research proposal, language of research proposal, and what should be the good layout of research proposal and how many number pages, how many pages we should write the good research proposal, and international guidelines, Indian guidelines I will discuss in this uh, lecture today. So first of all, so first of all, how to select the topic of research proposal? Selection of the research proposal topic. So in the research proposal topic is very, very important in your academic life because when you go for the job of assistant professor, they will ask, what is the topic of your PhD? They will ask. And what are the questions from PhD thesis? So the selection of the research very, very important, and that will be whole life important. So there are three scope for selection of the research proposal topic. First scope is revision of the old law, concept and theory. The previous law has been given and you are interested to do the revision. Suppose that in the case of economics, just like law of demand is given by the Marshall. So you will be interested to know that law of demand is present time applicable or not. So your topic can be a test of law of demand with a special reference to India. You can like this, a test of law of demand, a test of investment function, such type of topic you can select. In spite of this, I think that the students are from the science, art, commerce, education also. So suppose any slok or in the Sanskrit, you can also make the hypothesis and you can do the study about choose. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya. It can be the topic of your research proposal. You can do the test. This is the old law, and you are thinking that is applicable or not at present time. So you can select such type of topic also. You can select such type of topic. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya is applicable at present time or not, or any slok of Hindi, Sanskrit, Urdu, maybe any language or type of things or any theory of science you can select at the research topic. In spite of this, the second scope is that you can formulate the new theory or new ideas. New theory or new ideas you can formulate related to the any subject. This is the second scope of the selection of research topic. And third one is that application of theory in a particular field you can apply that the particular of things you can study in your topics. So for the solution of the poverty, unemployment, for entrepreneurship, for social harmony, for political harmony, economic development, any type of sustainable development, or for the cultural development, religious development, any type of development, you can select the topic. Uh, so the topic of research, one thing is very important, the topic of research should be well defined and at the micro level, because if it will not be defined, you cannot do the study. By reading the topic of research, the objective of research should be very clear. When any person read what is the topic of research, they can understand the objective of research very clearly. It is the very important. And research topic should not be very broad. It should be micro level, because when you select the broad topic of research, the research will not be possible. So it is better to take the micro level of topic, so you can do the research. In spite of this, one thing is also very important, that research topics should be related to your area of interest. If you are doing the real research, not the copy and paste like this, you are doing the real research, So if you are not selecting the topic related to your area of interest, you will feel difficulty. You will not give your time. You will not be dedicated. You will not be well disciplined in your work. So always try, if you want to become the good researcher, always try to take the topic of your area of interest. And one thing is also very important, that your topic should be related to the welfare of society, because research is not your individual property. One thing is also very clear, that after doing the PhD, you can get the good job, you can get the promotion also, you can get the respect and recognized in the society. That is another issue. But prime objective of research is the social welfare, not the individual welfare. It is very clear that when you work for the society, ultimately you will get the benefit also. This is another issue. But always select the topic which is beneficial for the research. This time the University Grant Commission has also told that the topic should be concerning to the social welfare, but that is a new, not new concept. It was previously already told. Research means for the society, your contribution for the society. Research is related to your contribution for the society. But one thing also important, when you will contribute for the society, automatically you will get benefit. That is another issue. That is another issue. But you should select the topic related to the welfare of society. When you go in the interview for the any job, they will ask, what is your topic of PhD? We have seen that about 60% candidates are not able to tell their topic also. 60% candidates are not able to tell their topic also. This is a very big problem. And some students will tell my topic related to this, but not tell the exact topic. This is the big questions. So you should remember the topic of your study. If your topic is good, so in the interview, it is asked, what is your topic of study? If it is good, it is praised. If it is not good, it is criticized. So it is better while selecting the topic of research, try to get the good topic. Otherwise, you will also be criticized. Your examiner will also be criticized. Even your university department, all will be criticized if your topic is not good and not socially relevant. This is the very important while selection of the topic of research. So what is the research proposal? Research proposal is a brief outline of future research works. What research works you are interested to do? That the research proposal is the brief line of your work, future work, and research proposal first prepared under the guidelines of your under the guidance of your supervisor. Okay, and after it goes to the department research committee. In the department research committee, they check this, approved by this, then go to the university research committee or the faculty research committee, and then finally it goes to the approved. So one thing is very important, research work is guided by research proposal. When you write the research proposal, when you write the thesis dissertation, that is guided by your research proposal, you have to write according to the research proposal. So write the research proposal good. One experience is also that at the international level, there is change, there is a scope of more change also. In the developed country, they change also at the time of interview also. But in the case of India, you have to write according to the research proposal. You cannot change the title of your research proposal. When you are making the thesis, you cannot change the title of research proposal. Same title. Objective, very small you can change. Methodology, you can some changes. Chapterization you can also change it, but some university not changes chapters of the research. But at the international level, you are giving the final PhD viva. At time, title of the study is also changed. The reviewer, the evaluator, the examiner will suggest you to change the title of your research. also. Anytime there is chance of changing the your title, but in the case of India, no chance of change the title. So it is better to select the good topic and quality topic that is beneficial for the society. So after this approval by the university, you start to work. So the general components of research proposal is that first you write the topic of the research. After that, the main components are introduction, literature review, objective of research, research questions and hypothesis, then tentative chapters, how many chapters will be in your study, and after that you write the research methodology, and after that you write in last you write the references. What references you have taken to prepare your research proposal. This you write. So I am discussing one by one. So first part is the introduction. So in the introduction part, introduction includes general idea about the topics. So suppose introduction is part 1. Introduction is part 1. So you can write 1.1 overview of the study. 1.2, suppose first of all write the general idea about your topic, 4-5 sentence write. After that, you write the overview of the study 1.1, 1.2 background of the study, 1.3 statement of problem, 1.4 significance of the study, 1.5 to write this. So a small background about your topic is also necessary. After that, statement of the problem means situation motivated you to do the study. A statement of the problem means what situation motivated you to do this study. You have to write about this in the statement of problem. And after that, you will write the significance of the study. In the significance of the study, you will try to tell that why this study is important for society, why this study is important, or how this study is important for academic and research work for the society. Because if your significance is important, if the significance of your study is important, then it will be approved. Otherwise, if your significance of study is not important, not relevant, it will not be approved. Good university will not approve your topic if it is not significant. And generally, in the almost all the university, they look this because your research proposal after department go to the department also look this, see this, that is written according to the guideline of university or not, and important things are not, this point is strong or not, they see this. At the faculty level, they also check this. The dean, under the guidance of dean or the research director, also university level, they do this. So they see that your work is really significant for the society or not really significant for the society. After that, that is the very important. So you have to write this significance of the study very systematically. So all the points in the introduction part is important. So you try to include all the points by point will be better. Any subjects, maybe Hindi, Sanskrit, economy, sociology, physics, mathematics, any subject, but the general format is that. So it is the very important, and you have to show that your research is very important. Now the second part is that review of literature. Review of literature. Review of literature is very important. What is the review of literature? What is the review of literature? The review of literature means till the date what works on this topic or related to this topic has been done by the previous researcher. What work on this topic or related to this topic has been done by till now the previous researcher. This is called the review of literature. So the purpose of the literature review is to describe past important research and it relates it specifically to the research problem. What is your research problem? On this topic, what work have been done by the previous researchers? So the review should examine the major theories related to the topic to the date and their contribution. About this topic, what are the main theories, what are the main concepts, what are the previous research on this topic also and related to this topic also, both are important. So in this literature review, we include the conceptual literature, theoretical literature and applied literature. Concept, you try to discuss the concept, theory on this literature, theory, what theory has been given by another researcher, and applied literature, what it research has been done in the context of the particular area. We will study this. So literature on concept, literature on the methodology, literature on the result. These are the very important. So according to the topic or related topic, what are the main concepts you have to do the literature? The previous researcher have used what methodology, what type of data they have used, what types of model they have used, and what the result they have found in the context of the previous works related to the topic at world level, country level, region level, all the level, at the state level, region level, at that particular area level, what the works have been done by the previous researchers you have to study. So what is the need of this? What is the need of literature review for you? Because you are going to do the new research. The importance is that suppose you are going to study about the particular topic, and when you do the literature review, you will get the idea about this topic. When we will not get the idea about the topic, how we will do the research? How we will do the research? So on the particular topic, you will get the idea, your knowledge will increase about this topic, you are going to do the research. In spite of this, you are going to do the research about this particular topic, then you read the work of another researcher, then you understand how they are writing, what is the format of research there, and what are their objectives, what are their hypotheses, how they are writing the literature review, how they are writing the introduction and other parts, how they are making the research methodology, how they are collecting the data, how they are taking the sample, what models they are selecting, what time period they are selecting, what methods of data collection they are using, and what are their results, what models they are, in which area they are conducting the research, what are their results, what are the implication, use of their research for the society. So suppose that the previous researchers are the doctor, they are doing the operation of a doctor, and you are the assistant, you are seeing how the doctor is doing the surgery of a stomach, you are seeing by your eyes. So by reading the literature review, you can get the idea, your idea will become very rich. So if you want to develop the quality research proposal, it is better to read 5 or 6 quality research proposal. Read. Automatically you will get the idea how they are selecting the topic, how they are writing the introduction part, how they are writing the literature review part, how they are writing the objective, hypothesis, research questions, research methodology part. That is the very important. How they are doing, how they are writing the references, all those things you will get the idea. It is better. You can do the copy. You can do the copy, and after that you use your own mind. That will be more better, because we get the idea from others, we get the idea from the good persons. It is better to get the idea from the good persons, then your idea become rich. So that is the very important literature review in our part. So one thing is important while doing the literature review in the research proposal, at least 20 to 30 literature you should do. At least 20 to 30 because a good research proposal should be about 20 pages, not make more than 20 pages. 20 page good research proposal is better. So, it is important to do the literature at least 20 to 30, 20 to 30, not more. In the thesis, you can do more. But in the literature review, it is better to do 20 to 30 applied literature. Uh, and you should do conceptual sum, and some is theoretical, and applied 20 to 30 is better. You will get the idea. You get the idea about your predecessors, your previous researchers, how to work. So this is the better. And while after doing the literature review, you will find focus on the recent literature, that is very important. While suppose that you are writing your research proposal in 2022, so try to include the literature of latest 20 years, latest 22 years, not very old literature. Because in the recent literature already old literature is included, so try to include the recent literature, not old literature. Focus on the recent literature, that will be better for you. And one thing is also that by this way you can find the research gap. Research gap means what works have not been done by the previous researchers. Actually, the work has also been done by the previous researcher, but you don't know. But I think there should be something new. Research gap may be related to your topic gap. Maybe your topic is new, there is gap. Maybe you are doing the revision of old topic, this is also the gap. Maybe you are using the previous topic in the context of particular place, this is also the gap. Maybe your data is different, maybe your tools are different, maybe your analysis tools are different, maybe your models are different, maybe you are thinking that your result will be different, and maybe you are thinking that after 20 years the society changes, the organization changes, the economy changes, the people changes, their behavior changes. You are interested to apply in the present scenario. Maybe this is the difference. What the Tulsi Das given their views, that view is relevant in the present scenario or not. You are going to test this. So anything should be new. You are taking the data from your particular area, particular specific group you are taking. Your time period is different. This is also the gap. This is also the new. Your model is different. Your tools of analysis are different. Your variables are different. So all these are the research gap. And one thing also that gap, your interpretation, method of interpretation is different. Your ideas goes different, but one thing is that logically you have to write logic. Your logic should be very important, and that be justifiable. And the justice is very important, justifiable is very important while giving the logic concerning to the research gap, it is very important. So you have to make the strong research gap at the last part of literature review. So while writing the literature review, first of all, you 4 or 5 sentences write about this, and then after that you write, suppose literature review is part 2, then 2.1 conceptual literature, 2.2 theoretical literature, 2.3 applied literature. In applied literature, you are starting systematic at the world level, at country level, at state level. Understand? A world level, continent level, country level, state level, your region level, place level, you can do like this and try to include 20 to 30 literature and focus on the recent literature I have told. And after that, 2.4 will be research gap. 2.4 point will be research gap. So after this is the literature review. After this literature review, your next point, third point will be objective of the study. objective of the study. Objective will be well defined objective. Concentrate on the topic. Your objective should be matching to your title of research. And don't include more objective. Not include 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 objectives. We are evaluating the thesis and research proposal. We are finding that researchers are using 10 objective, 12 objective. This is not good. Uh, Try to include maximum 2 and 3 objectives. 3 objectives are maximum. 2 to 3 objectives are maximum is better, but generally they use the 4 or 5 objective you can do according, no problem, but you should focus on the 2 to 3 objective, that is the better. 3 objective is better concerning to a topic. Sometimes we have seen that topic of the study and objective of the study are not matching. They should match. When they read the topic, objective of the study should be very clearly, and objective of the study should be related to the topic of the study. That is the very important. That is the very important. Otherwise, there will not be relevancy of the research. And one thing is also important: research objectives should be based on the research questions. What are the research questions? Research questions means your study, research study is going to give the answer of these questions, and this is also called the research objective. But only the way of asking is different, and the research objective should be based on the research gap. What research gap you have formulated, that is a very strong, and your research question should fill the research gap. Your research objective should fill the research gap. That is a very important in this part objective of the study. And you can also write the research questions also. But now the hypothesis of the study. So hypothesis is of two types of hypothesis. First, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is the tentative answer of research questions. Hypothesis is the tentative answer of research questions based on the literature. One thing is also important. You are not doing the research, but how can you give the answer of the research? How can you give the answer of the research question without the study? But generally it is said that it is based on the literature. What knowledge you have till now concerning to this topic, that is research objective is based, hypothesis is based on the tentative, it is the tentative answer based on the previous literature you have read concerning to this topic. This is the important. So hypothesis of two types generally. First one is the research hypothesis, and second one hypothesis. A research hypothesis conceptual research, empirical research. In the Hindi, Sanskrit, philosophy, like this subject, we do the conceptual research. We do the research on the concept, no quantitative data related to this. You analyze this thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. One has given the thesis, then antithesis and antithesis, synthesis. We do such type of conceptual research. Concerning to the conceptual research, there is the research hypothesis. And research hypothesis is not validated with the data. Research hypothesis is not tested with the help of statistical data. It is related to the concept, and you have logically tried to prove this. Such type of research is also good. No problem. You can do such type of research. And if your thought is very clear, concept is very clear, you are logically thinking, writing logically, you can do the better conceptual research. Second one is the statistical research. Statistical research is related to the empirical research. That is related to the data. You have to test the data. So statistical research is in the statistical hypothesis formulation, we test the hypothesis. So hypothesis uh, testing. So while making the statistical hypothesis, you make the two type of hypothesis again, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. So null hypothesis means the hypothesis which is to be tested. Hypothesis which is to be tested is called the null hypothesis. And alternate hypothesis means if null hypothesis is not okay, then what will be? So alternate hypothesis is the complementary of null hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis is the complementary of null hypothesis. So generally we have seen that generally a scholar write the hypothesis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 they write. This is also okay. But we have seen that the students are writing, we have seen in the proposal, alternative hypothesis they have written in the place of null hypothesis, and null hypothesis they have written in the place of alternative hypothesis, and proposal is also okay. We have seen many research proposals such type of drawbacks. In the null hypothesis, we should start. Null hypothesis is unbiased hypothesis. Null hypothesis is unbiased hypothesis. So while making the null hypothesis, you should think it is unbiased concept. So we like that there is no significant impact. Null hypothesis denoted by HO, alternate by HA. Null hypothesis denoted by H0, alternate hypothesis is denoted by HA. So while writing the null hypothesis, suppose that you are making the hypothesis concerning to the regression functions, impact of independent variable on dependent variable. So you can write that there is no significant impact of independent variable on dependent variable. You can write like this. Suppose dependent variable is the quantity demanded and independent variable is the price. Then you can write there is no significant impact of price on the quantity demanded. Such type of hypothesis you write. Generally, suppose you are studying the impact study, then you can make the hypothesis like this. But if you are doing the comparison of two groups, suppose the mean marks of two classes, then you can make the null hypothesis is that there is no significant difference between the mean marks of group first and group second. You can take the three groups also. You can make the hypothesis regarding the stationary also. You can make the hypothesis regarding the correlation also. But one thing is very important. Hypothesis can be formulated only concerning to the empirical study. In the conceptual study, we cannot formulate the statistical hypothesis and we cannot test the hypothesis. So hypothesis can be related to, hypothesis will be based on the sample data and the population. Sample means the data which we have drawn from the population to study about the population, to telling about the parameter of population on the basis of the sample. So the population mean, population means what? Population means the area under the investigation. What area you are going to do the study, this is also called the universe also. So on the basis of sample, you have to take the conclusion about the population. So you are doing that, there is no significant difference like this. There is no significant impact. There is no significant difference. There is stationary. There is unbiased like this. Such type of you formulate the null hypothesis. It is better when we discuss the hypothesis testing. We can discuss the more on this topic. In the alternate hypothesis, there is significant impact. There is significant impact. There is significant difference. Yes. We can make like this in the alternate hypothesis. So if there is significant impact, there is two-tailed and one-tailed of alternate hypothesis. If alternate hypothesis expanded in one part, that is one-tailed test, and if it has been expanded in two parts, that is two-tailed test. If there is significant impact of independent variable on the dependent variable, either it may be positive or either it may be negative. If it is positive, then positively impact, and if it is negative, it has negative impact. Hypothesis testing is a big topic, so I'm not discussing here. I have to discuss about this topic, so I'm going. So such type of, but one thing also important while testing the statistical hypothesis, the test of hypothesis, we have to fix the level of significance, and level of significance means it is the maximum possibility of the rejection of null hypothesis. Level of significance means it is the maximum possibility of the rejection of null hypothesis. If the level of signification is small, generally you take the 1%, 5%, 10%, even less than 1% also. In the physical science, the level of significance is less than 1% also. Physical and natural science. While in the social science, business, commerce, that is related to the society organization and the behavior of the people changes, that is not dynamics. So it is better to take level of significance. 5% is better. 5% means 5% you are fear that your null hypothesis will be rejected. Means 95% you are confident that your null hypothesis will be accepted. So the rejection will be from the left side, from the right side, or from the both side. If rejection is from one side, that is the one tail test. It either may be left side or maybe right side, or if the rejection is from the both side, then 5 divided by 2, then you can say that it is a two-tail test. If rejection is from one side, it is called one-tail test. If rejection is from the both side, it is called two-tail test. Suppose that you are giving the examination, and examination, suppose master examination, PG examination, if your marks is less than 50, you are failed. Mark is less than 50%, you are failed. What is meaning of this? It is the rejection from the left side. If your marks is less than 50, you are failed. 50 or more than 50, you are accepted. Otherwise, you are rejected. This is the one tail test. If you are very talented, and you give the interview, and when you come from interview, you tell that I gave all the answer of interview, my answer was excellent, very good, everything fine. In spite of this, I got rejected. Why you got rejected? You are rejected from the right side. You are not suitable for this position. Suppose for this position, your marks should be 50 to 60, and you are getting more than 60, you are rejecting from the right side. You are not suitable for this position. Suppose you are going to give the interview of peon, and you are the university topper, and you are saying that I have good academic result, excellent in the examination, I have got good marks. Everything is fine, but I have not selected. You are not understanding. You are rejected from the right side. You are more than this position, so you will also be rejected. This is the case. And sometimes you have seen that the rejection is from the both side. That is when you go in the vacancy of the army, they say that your weight will be more than 50 kg, 50 kg or more than 50 kg, and should be less than 60 kg. So if your weight is less than 50 kg, also rejected, more than 60 kg, also rejected. So it is the two cases. So that is the rejection from the both side. That is the very important in this study. So now we are discussing about, then we write the tentative chapter. I am discussing in the context of because I am speaking in India. And so tentative chapters, your chapters should be 5 to 7 chapters in this. This time we are seeing that chapter 1 is the introduction, chapter 2 is literature review, chapter 3 is research methodology, chapter 4 is results discussion, chapter 5 is conclusion and suggestion. But these are the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it is not necessary that your chapters, tentative chapters should be 5. Sometimes the first chapter is the introduction, second chapter literature review, third chapter is the methodology, and fourth chapter they write related to your thesis. 5 also. And then they give the two chapters they wrote related to your thesis, and then they use the results and discussion, and after that conclusion and suggestions. So but generally it has seen that 5 to 7 chapters should be in your thesis.